All right. I think it's working. There we go. All right. Welcome to the Shop Class Podcast. Tonight's guest is Tiffany uh, Noel von Orff. Orff, is that how I say it?
Yes.
Okay. And she is from the LA area. I don't know if you're originally from the LA area, but you're stuck in LA traffic right now.
I grew up in LA, but I actually live in Riverside County.
Okay. And she is a welder, and she's also a shop teacher. And what's cool is that she's an advocate, as you do. You're trying to help people out. So she's an advocate for female welders and the pathway, the career path, and whatnot. And actually, what's cool is Anna Maria just joined, she's one of my adult students because I do a welding class on the side. And her and her dad took my class. They were a lot of fun. And yeah, that was cool. How you doing, Anna? Okay, she's muted. She's getting settled in. Okay. And we got a couple of more
Hi.
Hey, there you go.
Here's my dad.
Oh, no way. Hey.
How you doing, man?
Hey, good. These two were great. They did some really good welding. We had a good time. Anna was better than her dad,
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Girl power.
Yeah. That's funny.
That was fun.
That's cool. And so we got a whole bunch of shop teachers in the house. We got Damien all the way from Australia. We got Duke. And he's in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, which is not too far from Jersey. We got Nick up in Accord, New York. So he's like, wow, 2 hours north of me or something like that. Lauren is in New Jersey. She's a high school shop teacher, Morristown, right? Okay. And we got Mike. Mike is like, you have no idea. He's like the YouTuber of the shop teachers. He's got the best YouTube channel. It's hilarious. He does such a good job for his students. We'll show a little bit of that tonight. It's really funny. And he's in Morristown as well. I'm in a town called West New York, New Jersey, but I live in Englewood. And I just do auto and metal shop. But Tiffany.
Oh my gosh.
What? Yeah. Okay. So where were you give us some of your latest teaching, but then also kind of we'll get the backstory, and then we'll just kind of hit you with questions. How's that?
Oh my God. I'm so used to being the one that asks the questions. It's so weird.
I know.
Okay,
well, wait, let me show them something.
Here, I like to be in control. What the heck here?
I know. This is funny. So she runs a show as well. And I'll just show you a little piece of it. It's such a good show, by the way. It's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, because what it is that she does these interviews.
I look so mad.
No, it's all good. Wait, let me go back one. Hold on. And what it is, you can actually go through the list of interviews she's done. So,
oh my God! So that list has doubled. I have to update it. I just have no time. It's just we're a two-man group for the syndicate, so it's doubled. We've done almost 40 interviews now between the two of us.
No way! That's so cool.
Yeah.
And what I do is it's on Instagram. So what I do is I just turn it on and I just kind of walk around doing other stuff or whatever. Like if you're just doing the dishes or whatever you're doing, and then you just listen, and it's actually cool because they're telling their story, and I think you do a good interview.
Thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead. You can be in control. Ask us questions if you want. I don't care.
Okay. Well, I'll just kind of tell you where I hailed from. I actually, where I teach is 140 miles round trip from where I live out of Maricosta Community College. And I teach from 17-year-olds to 70-year-olds, and it's structural code welding. We certify flux core D1.1 code. At a 98% pass rate, and I was doing it for a year and a half. I actually just moved here from Arkansas. I was gone from California for about 7 years. I went to college in Arkansas and got certified. Certified stick MIG flux core. Not TIG, nor my 6G. I never passed it, but there just wasn't enough time. But yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't know. I've been in this industry for 12 years now. And I evolved from being the shop girl building lowriders to now having my own company. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, that is. Oh, you're busy with your own company as well.
Well, the syndicate. I mean, there's so much stuff
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. We have a clothing line. We have resources for women. We have
Wow.
other things that are going on. We're going to YouTube. We're starting a podcast. We're going to SEMA in November.
Are you? No kidding.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are.
by the way, people should know. Hold on, I got the welding thing right here. Wait, where is it actually? I have your Jesse Combs. Where? Damn it! Oh, here it is. Right there we go.
There's the Instagram. Yep.
And then we got the.
Oh, that's the website off of it.
Yeah.
So there's the clothings.
Right.
Which I never even like. I don't even have time to. So that girl, that's Missy from Canada. That's me and my crazy ass.
Yeah.
There's people all over the world that are importing swag from the syndicate right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my students.
Nice.
That's Northern California.
I want a sticker. What the hell?
Oh, sorry, I'm slacking.
Yeah, this is not cool. But what did I say was yeah. So and you're also, this is where you were, right? This is the college.
Miracosta, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on right there. This is like pretty much LA's down. So you had to drive all the way down here from LA?
Yeah, it's 70 miles one way. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but well, actually, it was like a saving grace because in LA County and Riverside County, they were completely shut down for the year. So like my sons have been to a school for a year and a half. They actually just graduated virtually from high school and junior high. So being in that county, the shop was remote. So we were not actually based off of the main campus, which is the only reason why I actually worked the past year, because if not, they would have shut it down.
Wow,
So,
no kidding.
yeah.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
So this is wild. Now, because not everybody here is a welder. So when you say flux core, basically what you're talking. What's that?
This is dual shield. Like,
oh, you do. So you do the gas and the flux core.
Yeah. So this is certified welding up to 3/4 inch. This is not like kind of like hobbyist type. This is no. This is structural major welding that I'm teaching. Wow,
no kidding.
Yeah.
So that's just so everybody knows, that's the one with the trigger. It's the MIG. They call it MIG, but basically it's like.
I forget you guys are not welders. Okay, yeah. MIG
Yeah.
I'm like,
I weld, but I don't.
I'm just assuming you guys are welders. Okay.
No. They probably know about welding, but not everybody here. Yeah, not everybody here teaches welding. Yeah.
Because my moniker is shop girl, so I'm like, I come back from all over these backgrounds, so I'm just assuming everybody knows. But MIG, yes, that's the one with the gun. The MIG gun has the little trigger. But then I also teach with the stick, and then I also teach TIG, which is the one with the TIG torch, and then the filler rod. So I do all of them. I teach all of them. So
yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. This one here.
I forgot about that part.
TIG is the only one we're not allowed to teach in schools down here.
You're not allowed to take it?
Not allowed to teach it in schools.
Oh, really?
So we can teach stick welding and MIG welding. It's been a few years since I've done it.
Oh, wow. Why can you not teach TIG welding?
I really don't know. Somebody's probably hurt themselves and the department's just covering their back. Just like our students aren't allowed to use the table saw at all because a kid lost his thumb a number of years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. It's so weird how it varies regional. I have friends in China, they only stick weld. They don't use any gas, which is cool because stick welding is my favorite. Yeah. But I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't necessarily realize until I talk to people around the world what the variances are. There's even variances in California according to like what we certify in.
So this is the MIG welding gun. This is a cheapo thing. Yeah, I just have like a Harbor Freight thing here. And basically the wire comes out here. This one's there's no gas here. But you have one where the wire and the gas are coming out, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and it's 100% CO2.
Yeah. Oh, okay, CO2. No kidding. Not argon. Yep. Not the argon mix?
No, that would be nice, but it's a little bit more pricey to get. So it's a CO2.
Okay. And then when Anna took my class, we did mostly stick, and then
Badass.
yeah, right. Anna, what did you think of? Did you do the stick welding? Did we get a chance to do MIG welding when you were there? I can't remember.
Is that the one with the little piece of, like, the little metal that squirts out?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that at the end. But the other teacher was teaching that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So
I like the stick.
You like the stick welding?
Mhm.
That's my favorite. I think it's there's definitely an art to it. We teach it first because it seems to be the hardest process to learn. So we teach
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
what I normally do as well.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do too. I'd teach.
Welding, I think most people will stay, but if they don't like it, or it's because we start with 60-10, usually people are throwing rods across the room, cursing. I'm like, whoa, calm down. You know what I mean? I promise there's a more madness. It will get a little bit easier, but yeah.
I would always start with stick and then go to MIG, and now they've changed their syllabus around and said MIG first in year 9, stick in year 10, just because they think stick is more dangerous.
Really?
Really?
I think more chance because they can't see where they're trying to stroke the arc, and they'll lift their helmet or something like that. So
Oh, I see. Okay.
that's all I'm thinking. That I can't really understand why, but yeah, I used to always do it the other way around and get the kids used to stick first and then bring the MIG out later.
Yeah, I feel it teaches them more patience to learn, with the stick and everything, and then go to MIG.
You definitely have to acquire some patience with stick welding. I even get mad sometimes if I haven't run it for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, what I start out with was, I call it the booger sheet. So I just have like a sheet of steel, maybe an 1/8 inch plate, and then we just let them strike the arc and just totally mess it up. I actually got a little video. This is what it looks like to take my intro class, and then I could get some tips from Tiffany to make it better. Let me see. Can you guys see this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hold on a second. Let me put there we go. Okay. It's Mr. G. It's Welding 101. We're about to reveal what.
You hear yourself, Ron.
Joe did. All right, here we go. Ready? Oh, look at that. Yeah. Here we go. Nice. All right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to finish welding it, and then we're going to break it in the vise. Welding 101. Here we go. Wait, hold on. Okay, excellent work. We just throw it in the vise. This is all I got because we only got 3 hours with them. So
Right.
Yeah, this is like a crash course.
Okay.
So then I throw it in the vise and we break it on the backside, and then where it splits, I show them where they didn't make a good penetration and whatnot. And then you'll see in the video they actually break the vise from hitting it so hard, and then one of them lets go of the hammer. It's is a success, but you see where it started to crack. Once it cracks, it goes through that weld. You can see the heat effect zone. You see where it ended is where that started. Cool? All right. Okay. That's pretty good. Nice.
You're muted.
Yeah, I won't make you guys sit through the whole thing, but basically that's my quick way of kind of getting a destructive test going. Do you do anything like destructive testing with the students ever?
Oh yeah, that's how we certify. We use a 12-ton press to check at the end of the course when we go through FlexCore. We don't certify for stick. It's only for a dual shield, the FlexCore. But it's funny because my students also broke the vise too.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm laughing. So
Oh, yeah.
Your class is 3 hours per class, or that's how the course runs, period?
So I got my day job, and then on every other Saturday, I run a crash course for adults. It's open to the public. And so then I just do 3 hours. They come in, they get a chance to get a good feel for the liquid pool management, you know, and then there's no certification or anything. And then we just break the thing, and then, we just make fun of each other and go home, you know. So.
All right, there. Yeah, ours is it's very fast paced. It's 16 classes. I think it's 140 hours. So they don't get to mess around too much with the state. It's basically they go through the 60-10 all positions, and then we move on to 70-18, and then we move on to MIG and then flux score, which is what we certify in. But we do, I mean, I have full-on curriculum for Miller Open Book and then Hobart and lectures throughout, because it's an 8-hour day, 16 days.
Okay, so when you say 60-10, which just so everybody knows what you're talking about, is the type of rod. And
60-10 is the type of welding
rod. Am I right? It's 60,000 PSI, like how much that particular steel would hold. Okay, the tensile strength. And then the 10 is the coating or something else in there?
The 10 is no, that's position.
Oh, position. Okay. So all these rods have codes, just so everybody knows. And then the 70, what did you say, 70-18?
And so that's just the tensile strength.
So that one's a way stronger metal.
And it's just easier to run. I like try to move them on from 60-10. I'm like, come on. Well, you know, because 60-10 is just so aggressive and violent when you first teach it. And so like I do a similar thing than you with just a flat 1/8-inch piece of plate. I just have them do buttons. You know, I don't tell them anything. They gear up from head to toe. And, you know, it's violent and it's weird, especially if you've never welded before. So they get this weird rod hanging off this weird piece of machine. And they're running this massive, like we have huge XMT Miller machines. And so there's a lot of power running through it. And so, you know, just to kind of get the like fear of it away, I just tell them, just put it on the metal. It's stick welding for a reason. It will stick, you know? So once they get past that and they really realize, oh, okay, no big deal. I even stick it for them so they can see that I'm not a robot. I'm human. And sometimes it's actually hard to make it stick.
Oh, okay. Anna knows about this. So like, right. Remember when you try and get it started, it always tries to hold. Yeah. So like you got to flick it to get started. Otherwise the thing sticks right to it. Exactly.
Right.
That's funny.
We use what's called buttons. So we'll go across the 1/8-inch plates and I'll make sure that they try to stay within a straight line. And then they'll do the whole front side. And if they're consistent and they feel very comfortable with the stick welding, then I have them start connecting. And then we'll start doing the whip and pause motion. And then they'll do front and back, and then we'll go from flat to horizontal to overhead to vertical up. And then I'll start teaching them like the numbers. I try not to like drop too much stuff in the beginning. Like the first day, I literally just throw them in the booth, hand them some 60-10, and just tell them to keep it in a straight line. And I go through each student and I show them, because it's kind of hard to like see it from a video, you know, so I go there and I adjust their parameters without giving them too much, because it's very overwhelming, you know. And then they start getting comfortable with it and they start getting, you know, their own little like comfort spot. And then they realize that, you know, stabilizing their rod, and, you know, they start getting a little bit more confident in their skill. And then I add something else and they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you got it. Trust me, you're over the worst part, which is the sticking. I don't think we go like more than one day, 8 hours of just sticking. It's usually by lunch we're already like connecting and doing a different motion. So it's kind of cool. I love stick welding. I'll smile about it all day.
That's awesome. This is great. So then what we do is something similar, but then my question would be, how thick is the rod that you start them on?
1/8 inch.
Okay, all right. So I made the mistake of doing 16th inch, so 1/16, and it burns so fast. So they're like, they can't even keep up, you know. But at least it gets going quickly, you know.
And if it sticks, it goes red hot in 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like
right
through
the metal,
like a sparkler. It just goes, you know. Right. So that's cool. So maybe we'll go into a little bit of backstory. Like, how did you how did you get to this point? Like you said, you started by working in a mechanic shop.
Yeah, I was okay, so I grew up in a place called Long Beach, and in that area it's all hot rods and lowriders. So I was pulling a motor like at the age of 16, right? And then it kind of evolved into going to car shows and then being in car clubs. And then fast forward, I'm married and getting a divorce, like way fast forward. And I walk into a shop and I had to adjust the suspension on one of my Tahoes that we had built for the car club. And I'm already like almost 2 years into a divorce, and I walk into shop and I basically never left. I started dating the guy, and within 2 years I became co-owner of a custom suspension and welding shop. And from it basically went from hand me that wrench to sweeping the floors to full on designing of the builds, and then to being the co-owner. And I went from welding, plumbing, electricity, designing, full fabrication of a lowrider within 3 years. And then
Wow.
it just kind of like, I promise you, this was not my evolution to teach. Like we ended up going from California to Arkansas. We had the opportunity to build a brand new shop on 7 acres of land. So we did it. And oh my word, Arkansas and California are two different places. And we learned very quickly when we were in an ice storm. And so we ended up having to take the day job to support the dream job. And I was bored. So I decided to go to school to go get taught formally for TIG welding. Well, in college, I didn't know that I could just take TIG welding classes. I went for the full degree. I had no clue. There was like no direction, no one to tell me what to do. So I went and I got my welding technology degree. Well, once I was introduced to stick welding, game over. I was done. I don't even like TIG welding. I promise you, it has like no business in my life either. But I basically passed out of the whole curriculum after the first semester, and I started teaching my my classmates. And I was 30 years old. So, I'm paying almost 30 grand for college, and they're coming up to me because my teacher was basically not there. Or I don't know if he wasn't there. I don't know how to explain it. He just was missing what
They're
he was
probably
doing.
like a good welder, but not a good teacher. I had that happen as well.
He was like known, like, I lived in a town of 4,000 people. So they were like, that guy is completely legit. Like he was known, he was a legend. But when I came around, I don't know if it's just my very nurturing nature. I had all the parameters written down in my phone. So whenever somebody needed help, I would give it to them. So he just started telling them, go to her. And I had just learned stick welding. I had just learned flux core welding. And granted, I had been making welding for a very long time. And so I ended up passing out all the certifications, and I went on to get the gold medal for Arkansas in the skills competition.
Wow.
And then I got an apprenticeship to air gas, and then, like chancellor's awards and all this stuff. So basically, like, I feel like I got like all the kudos that they wanted me out of the college. But when I wanted to go into pipe welding, that is not a women's place, especially in Arkansas. And you don't tell me that, trust me. I'm very opinionated. LA.
I have to, let me interject for a second.
Sure.
The car welding, like all the stuff you did for the custom stuff, this is like a big jump to structural welding, which is what you're talking about now. So just so everybody in the crowd knows, like,
right.
I weld on cars. I don't weld on buildings. I would not hire me to weld on a building. This is not, this is a totally different thing.
Totally different.
Yeah, pipe welding and welding on buildings is like, that's like bridge tech, like lives are at stake besides the person driving the car. So this is a big jump, just so everybody knows.
It was a huge jump. And I had no idea actually until I actually went to college. I didn't even know stick welding existed. I didn't even know flux core dual shield was a thing. I thought that was just like hobbyist stuff. I had seen people try to do a frame, and I knew it was not safe, and I knew it was not structurally sound. But then we got to like 1/2 inch metal and 3/4 inch metal, and then pipe, and I was like, oh, here's my people,
Wow.
And so I just kind of took this huge turn, because you don't weld on automotive with stick. You don't.
No.
You don't do flux core for vehicles. You have to TIG weld or MIG.
Yeah.
And I just left it behind. I mean, we had the shop and we were doing our thing at the shop too, and I had private lessons, but I was just so enamored with structural and big and pipe welding and like well, TIG welding for pipe. I had no need for any automotive after that. I just like took this huge leap. And then I worked for Airgas, and I was building like major platforms and like, you know, like the surrounds for the brand new addition for a spot out of Louisiana. And then I didn't know what to do here. You know, I worked there for a while, and I was like, well, Arkansas is not necessarily the most welcoming place for a woman who welds and who builds lowriders. They just were not. And so I was just looking around, what's next? What's my next step? And I like looked in Odessa, Texas. There's a really cool program for the college. And I just took another leap right back to California after 7 years. And I landed the job at Maricosta for the structural welding. And then I saw that out here, it is also very different, more welcoming, but a lot of women.
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of women, they don't necessarily think that this is an avenue that they could take. And so I started talking to all my girlfriends all around the country. And then therein, you know, we started making the Welding Women Syndicate. And I didn't even know. I just thought like I was just some woman that was in this. I didn't realize a huge amount of women who are doing this all over the world who actually had the similar problems. We just needed to find our tribe, you know? So that's what we did.
So when you got over to like you know, pipe welding, did you get into that industry, or was there a lot of resistance? And you know,
there's a lot. I actually had my last 60. So 60 is the position for pipe, and I was sitting there like I brought my own pipe in. My ex fiance, he would bring pipe from his job. He would bring me the rod so I can do it at the shop at school, because I was also working for Airgas and also going to school full time. And then I had another job. Like, I'm insane, I know.
So this is really, I'm so sorry. You're like going a million miles an hour. You're like me. You're excited. But here's the thing. We got to slow it down for this. We got to show them what you're doing. This is like so difficult.
Oh my God.
Look at this. This is 6G. This is when you weld in a fucking circle. Sorry to curse.
With the stick. With the stick.
Like, how do you even do that? Like, I don't even know what you do. Like,
it's an art. I'm telling you, it's an art. And I still actually, I know people must think I'm crazy, but I still want to go to an actual school for that, because he never passed me out on it. And I think that there's so much more that I want to learn. You know, I want to learn like the TIG route, and you know, purge welding. Like, I want to do all of it. So it's such a beautiful art form. And oh my God, you know, I have just barely scratched the surface of what I can do. I'm an excellent student. So you just got to show me and I can do it. You know, I learned that really quickly. And I think that's why it works as a teacher. But there's so much more I want to go learn, you know, and I'm trying to get my CWI right now. So
what is that? What is that?
Certified welding inspection and certified welding inspector and certified welding supervisor. So I'm trying to get all the initials. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, you're like an inspiration. This is great what you're doing. So, you know, because like I've had girls in my class and, you know, they never think that welding's a thing for them. And I always make a joke about guidance counselors. It's all women in the guidance office, and yet the tradition is to put the girls in home ec, which, you know, now they got STEM and STEAM, so engineering's like a thing now. But they put the girls in home ec, and they put the guys in shop class. And the irony is, if you go to like a restaurant, the guys are the chefs, and if you go to NASA, the girls are doing the rocket science. So it's like the girls are absolutely capable and really good at this. So there's like, it's the high school imbalance is kind of strange. That's my perspective on it.
It's the old mentality of things. You know, I was raised that way. I was raised to be seen and not heard. And, you know, my parents were very conservative, and you know, they're raised in the 50s, and you're supposed to take care of your spouse. And I don't know why I changed my ways, but I don't even cook. You know, I date chefs. That's just the way it works. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my place. And my kids, you know, they're all very similar. My daughter went to school for engineering. She's a firefighter. My son, he's a baseball player. He even tells me, he's like, I don't want to get dirty. You do that. You know, like, they do just whatever the heck they want. I don't make them, I don't limit anything.
I had one student that was pretty cool. She did a lot of welding in my class, and then I got her on the TIG welding machine, which she absolutely loved. And she repaired one of these like schools, like a shop class stool, like a chair stool thing. And she customized it. And then she actually took it with her. And then when she went to school for engineering because she was academically pretty good too. And I had her contact the racing team. Engineering schools have the Formula Baja and Formula SAE. Do you know about this? So, and she just showed up, and they didn't know what to do with her. And then she said, "Well, I could weld." They're like, "Yeah, right." And they said, "Go ahead, weld something." And she grabbed the machine, turned it on, set everything, and then welded. And she became the welder for the team as a freshman.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so I call it a walk-on. She was a walk-on freshman. So like, that's what they say in sports, that like somebody just walked on. They were not recruited. They just all of a sudden got on the team, And so I thought that was pretty cool. And she's probably a senior now. I got to check on her, see how she's doing. But it's great because she's working on race cars, and so that carries. Plus, it's competitive race cars, so she's doing the frames and stuff and whatnot.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I need to talk to her, man.
I know.
I have a girl who actually she's building a samurai, and she's doing the King of Hammers, which is insane. Like nobody does, and she's building a she's built a samurai, and she's actually in it. You don't see it too often, but it's nice to see the fact that we're not limiting ourselves. You know what I mean? It's not just a man's sport, and not to discount anybody, but it's not. I think that we just limit ourselves.
Wait, so you're West Coast, so King of Hammers is normal for someone on the West Coast. This is East Coast, so not everybody knows what that is.
Oh, sure. It's a big race. It's just a big race, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I forget, you guys. Sorry. West Coast.
Yeah.
There you go.
So this is.
You can pull her up.
So, oh really? So is this?
One of my interviews.
It's buggies. It's kind of like the Baja 1000.
She drives a samurai, so it varies on whatever the heck you're building.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Let me know how to find.
Very competitive.
That's cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Nice. This is awesome. All right. Yeah. So now, so you went back you taught at the college, and now the Women's Welding Syndicate. So you have there's a show, you interview people. Right. That's once a week, right?
Yep.
Now I'm mad at you because you always pick it on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Why did you pick Fridays? Fridays, I can't. I'm doing something Friday. I want to get out of town. I want to go hear some music. So.
Well, that is like my according to my insights on my Instagram, both of them. That's the best day to do it. And so Wednesdays is Bogey's Garage, that's an automotive woman.
She's
so
on
I don't want to.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
On her toes. And then Thursday is just not a good day. And then Friday, I'm like, well, everybody's getting off of work, and if not, they can just pop it in their ear. And a lot of people tell me that they like listen to it the next day, which is cool. And then like I normally teach Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So that's just kind of a nice little like segue into going into teaching. Like my students will come in and they'll watch and they'll comment, which is super cool. And then Mondays, I don't know, like I'm just doing like meetings, and that's just the day it is. I don't know how it works.
No, I'm only joking with you. It's all good. But this is okay. So can you tell us about All Girls Garage?
Yeah. Okay. So Bogey's Garage, like I have been a fan of hers for a very long time. We did an interview together. She interviewed me, which is super cool. So what she does, she's been in the industry for, 15, 20 years. And she's gone from being a tech to being a full-on mechanic to having SEMA builds, which is SEMA is like the biggest industry related automotive trade show ever. And then she now has her own TV show, and she does the same thing. She talks to women in the trades, and it was very cool because she invited me, and I was like, what? Like, I'm not even really, I'm building a little truck right now, but I'm not really in the automotive at the moment. So it was kind of cool to be able to talk to her, but she's just like a one-woman show, man. She's done just a little bit of everything.
Now, she's not too. I think she's East Coast, right? Isn't she in Buffalo, New York, or something like that?
No, she was in there, but no, she's out of Arizona.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. No kidding.
Yeah.
She was doing a truck. She was doing. Oh, you know who's close by is oh geez, here's the one at the she's a welder, but she's a artist, and she works right out of her just like a garage in her house. Cynthia.
Hot Steel.
But what's her like? Oh no, what is it?
Hot Steel Welding.
No, it's
no.
I don't recognize that one. Oh, too bad, I forget. It's anyway, she does like sculptures and like skulls and stuff.
Oh, oh my gosh, she's in Kansas, isn't she?
Oh no, there's one in New York State. She's not far from
New
here.
York.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
In New York. There's so many. I have an artist coming up, Sarah Stork, out of Texas, actually on Friday. I'm super stoked to see her. Super talented artist.
And so what's the All Girls Garage? Is that a show?
That's a show.
No kidding.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is great. You guys are kicking so much butt. It's unbelievable. Yeah. That is so cool. Look at all these crazy builds. Jeez. You know, it's
normally it's an all-female build, and she'll invite people from novice to professional fabricators, so you could not even put your hands on a vehicle, and if you want to participate, she'll welcome you in. She invites anybody who wants to, and she'll take them through the full gamut of just building and welding and fabrication. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I actually was in college when I wanted to join one of them. Eliza and I, she's the co-founder, we were telling her that we wanted to be part of the build for this year, but I think we may be biting off too much right now because we're actually going to SEMA. So we'll see what happens. We got a lot.
SEMA's amazing. SEMA's like if your head is like when I went there before the pandemic. And you can go as an educator. By the way, everybody in here, all the educators in here, you guys can go. It's no cost, this and that. And, just your plane ticket and hotel. My head was on a swivel. It's like, I think to sum it up, it's like basically Hot Wheels will be there. Just think about this. Any Hot Wheels you played with as a kid, the full size will be there. Like, it's crazy. They got the Bat car there. Like, every possible customized car, any aftermarket part that you could possibly imagine, it's there, and it's massive. It's the entire convention center. It's unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. We're going to be there for 7 days, and this is actually my first trip to SEMA. So of all the times I had been building cars out here, this is my very first time. So I'm like ridiculously excited about it. So 7 days, and they said that 7 days is not even enough to cover it, because we're going to be working a lot of it. We're going to be networking and doing interviews, and oh my gosh. So
wow, no kidding. That's awesome. That's so awesome. This is cool. Well, I mean, you're a leader. You're kind of pulling everybody up, which is great. I
didn't have that. I definitely didn't have that. When I was in the shop, they just, here, do it, and you're just a girl. But I fired everybody that tried to come into the shop, because they just were lackluster in anything they did. And it didn't take long for me to pick up, because I'm very mechanically inclined and I loved the work. But I didn't have any formal education, and that's not necessarily the easiest way to go. And I certainly didn't have a woman to partner up with. It's just a man's industry, and it was really hard. So it's nice I don't necessarily feel like a leader. I just want to be like that woman that helps guide you, help you navigate through the industry, regardless of whatever niche type job you go through. We've talked to engineers and chemists and models and welders, all of them in the welding industry, just someone to have something to just vent to at some point.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny, you kind of have a similar story to most shop teachers. Is like, I didn't have a shop teacher growing up, and a lot of shop teachers, I think, are kind of like, kind of becoming the shop teacher they wish they had, or or give.
Right.
It's a give. You're basically giving back. You know,
Right.
so it's pretty a natural. Basically, you're a shop teacher, and now you're going bigger than just the classroom, which is great. You know,
Right.
yeah, that's
Right.
awesome. That's awesome. You know, I don't know if you know, I should tell you this thing in Cleveland. This kind of, I guess it might be a little bit random, but we interviewed this guy who does like a female, like they call it a kickstart program. And what they do
Oh.
is, yeah, and what they do is they take these old bikes and they disassemble the whole engine and then they put it back together, and they don't ride them, but they kickstart them. Yeah, and so let me just show you here. This is the guy who does it. And he even does it over. Yeah, he even does this over Zoom because he knows that people during COVID couldn't get there. So he ships you an engine, and then you know, yeah. Hold on,
That's so cool.
Yeah, isn't that wild? See this here? And he's a super cool guy. You know, nice person and everything. It's called Moto Go Cleveland.
I gotta look them up. Do they have an Instagram?
Yeah, it's right here. Moto Go Cleveland. Can you see that? I don't know. Yeah.
No, I'm old and blind.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. That's all good. I'm trying to find.
Okay, I'll find that. Moto Go Cleveland.
Yeah. What's this?
That's
here?
super cool.
Oh yeah.
I love that type of programs, man.
Here you go. And yeah, this is the place, and they take donations, and then they like look at this girl trying to start the engine, like first time ever. Oh, I guess it's, I don't have the right clip, but everybody gets a chance to do it, you know.
That's so cool. I want to build a motorcycle eventually. That's like one of my goals is to build my own motorcycle.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah, especially we've been working a lot with the Jesse Combs Foundation, so that would go really nicely hand in hand with them.
Now, okay, can you actually? It's kind of jumping around topics, but what happened to her? You know, like I know she broke world records going like over 400 miles an hour in basically a jet car, and then she went to break her own record, and she crashed. Like, do you know the story? What happened?
I don't know the full-on story, but she died doing it. I mean, she died. She did die doing that.
Jesus.
So she was right. So she already had you know, like the real deal going on, where she does workshops for women and children. You know, obviously she caters to the women, but the same thing, introducing them into motorsports and welding and fabrication. And then once she had passed, breaking the world record, now there is the, what is it? Not the Real Deal Revolution. Yeah, the Real Deal Revolution, the Jesse Combs Foundation. So what they do is, I actually just interviewed one of the girls who received a scholarship to go to welding school, and her name's Sana, and she's a diesel tech, and she also went to school to learn formal welding. And so they give them scholarships, and I don't know exactly what the qualifications are for them to, you know, go through the process, but there's actually another girl here in California who won one of the scholarships as well. I'm going to try to get her on the show. But yeah, I mean, she actually did die racing, and then now it's just like huge movement of women welders, which is pretty cool. You know, I didn't necessarily get to see her too much when I was working in the shop. I was just basically working, you know. I knew she was doing it and I loved her, but like I had to put my head down and go back to the next build. So it's nice to see forward movement of, you know, of her the scholarship and everything. It's pretty cool.
Now, so just to explain, like, what's the difference between, I gotta find where we were. We got, okay, Jesse Combs. Hold on a second. So the real, they call it the Real Deal.
That was what she had for. So that was her workshops, which they still are having.
This is it. And this is where you can learn. This is like women's workshops for like welding and mechanics and stuff like that, right?
Yes. Yeah. They travel all over the country.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, one of Eliza, the co-founder for the syndicate, she actually just worked with them out of Dallas a couple of weeks ago, which was pretty cool. They worked out of the Texas Motor Speedway, and she actually was able to do the welding workshop for them. So it was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, I'm already following. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see. Hey, you guys have a lot going on. This is great. This is...
Yeah, we try to do as much welding and automotive and motorsport content as possible. You know, like there's people all over the country. Like next in 4 weeks, I'm going to be out at Arkansas Elite Welding Academy. I hope nobody hears this yet. But I'm going to be doing a live with one of their women's students.
Well, don't give away anything in the future yet. Hold on.
No. They know this. I already talked to them. Right. And then I'll be at a car show in Missouri on the 11th. I may be meeting up with Bob Moffitt. I don't know if anybody knows who that is, but Bob Moffitt's one of my very good buddies. He's a super cool guy, very famous welder. He has a wealth of knowledge, and I'm hoping he can make it out because it's just a couple hours from there.
Tiffany, I can't keep up. Hold on a second. You're so busy. Who's Bob Moffitt?
Bob Moffitt. Let's pull him up. Ram Nation on Instagram. I don't stop. I don't sleep either.
That's all right. Welcome to the club.
I know.
All right. And right now, Bogey's live. Right now.
I know she is. She goes at 6 o'clock. I know.
That's the irony of the whole thing. I can't even. All right. So how do we get? So who is this person? What do I do?
Ram Nation.
Okay. We usually have a Jamie for this situation, but I have to do it myself. Wait, is this it?
Ram Nation. RAM Nation. It should say Bob Moffitt.
Oh, here we go.
That's him.
All right, we'll follow.
So he actually did a couple live classes with my students. He's just a super cool guy. Like I built up a lot of like really cool contacts when I was in college. And even before that, I guess I didn't even know necessarily who was following me. It seems like I was just like, I guess sometimes women in welding are just kind of like a novelty until you actually start getting certified and degreed and working and, and then they're like, hey, and so he actually offered to do like a virtual class with my students. And it was pretty cool because they were having some mental issues with moving forward with the certification. And he basically did a full-on demo for them and answered questions. It was a really good time. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is cool. So you're going out here?
Well, I'm going out to Missouri. So there's a show called, what the heck is it called? Something Mayhem. Metal Mayhem. It's out of Joplin, Missouri. I just posted it in my stories, actually. So if you're able to go to my stories, you can see it.
We're not going to keep track of you. This is like, you're moving too fast here.
I'll be out there on, let me see, 12, 11, 10. I think it's the 10th and 11th. Right there. That's it. No, back. Yeah.
Yes.
Right there. That's it. If you click in the middle, that's the like flyer that they're working on. So that's it right there.
Post.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
So that's the show. In Joplin, Missouri. On what is it, the 11th? I so cannot see that. Am I really that blind, you guys? Yes.
That's a great drawing. That's Bonnie and Clyde.
Right. I think that's supposed to be like their t-shirt because they already have a graphic for their flyer. So I think this is going to be the show shirt.
This is awesome. I love Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know if anybody knows the story, but apparently, the legend about Bonnie and Clyde writing I think actually Bonnie wrote the letter to Henry Ford thanking him for the V8 because they used it was faster than the cop cars. Do you know about that? What? You don't know about
what? That is crazy.
Oh yeah, they were fucking nuts. Here, look.
You can
Bonnie
go in Vegas, right?
Clyde. You can see their car?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
It's on display. Oh yeah.
Okay. Look, letter to Ford. You have to see this. Look at this. Hold on a second.
I'm gonna have to write this one down.
Yeah,
That's cool.
This is it.
There.
This is it right here. I don't know what website, but I'm just click on it. This is like, I hope it comes up with a. Here we go. Can we click on it? Yes. Wait, I gotta blow it up. You can't even.
Yeah, blow it up.
I'll blow it up. Hold on.
No way.
It says, "Dear Sir, while I still have got health in my lungs, I will tell you what a dandy car you make. I have drove Fords exclusively when I could get away with one for substantial speed and freedom from trouble. The Ford has got other cars, something, I don't know, it's hard to see." Basically, she's like, "Thank you for the V8. Yours truly, Clyde." No,
As I'm sitting
yeah,
in a
Clyde.
Ford.
Oh, Clyde wrote this. Isn't that wild?
So check this out. Fun fact: my mom's family name is Ford.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, I promise.
Are you guys related?
I have no idea how it works, but I'm
funny.
a huge Ford fan. I love them. Like I'm sitting in an F-150 now.
Oh, there you go.
Funny.
I got a Ford Ranger. That thing's bulletproof. I love it.
Dude, I have almost 300K on my motor, and I can work on it. It's a motor. It's, oh my God. I beat this truck. I used it for work. It never fails me, man. It's just my little work truck.
Let's get some of these shop teachers involved here. You guys got any, what have you, any plans to teach any? Lauren, are you going to teach some welding or what? Now, you sort of have to now.
I have to?
Yeah. Do you know how to weld at all? It's okay if you don't.
I don't. I've never tried it. I mean, I've read about it.
I will teach you for free. I will teach you how to weld. Yeah, just come to one of my classes. I got you covered. I'm on the 19th if you want to come in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Lauren, what do you teach?
I teach general like STEM and electronics and robotics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's not as like cool as the stuff that you teach, I feel.
I don't know about cool because I want to go to I'll probably get.
I don't know. Your story is so interesting. Your story is so interesting, and I'm sure just your like exhilaration to learn, I'm sure, is like infectious on your students. You know.
I hope so, because I don't ever want to stop learning, and it's funny because I'm older, I'm 42 and they're like, "You want to go back to college?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I want to go get my engineering degree. I want to go for pipe welding." They're like, "What?" I'm like, why would you limit yourself? I want to learn it all, because I don't necessarily think I've mastered welding, but what I do know, I'm very good at it and I'm excellent at teaching, but there's so much more that I want to learn, and they like look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no way. My daughter went to school for engineering. I had a student, she's my age and she's an engineer, and she basically came through the program just to learn welding because, there's always that saying, if about the engineer and the welder, we're never friends, right? And it's true. I mean, I've seen it because they normally, not always, they haven't been in the field. So what seems right on paper doesn't necessarily translate to the project, right? And I've been in both situations. And so she's like, I really just wanted to see if that was true. And she actually just passed her, 3G flux core certification, major structural welding yesterday. So I was like, man, now they can be both. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
I'm a nerd, man.
You're inspiring me. I'm 43 and I thought about going back to school for engineering, because I took a product design route, but I always feel like I missed out on the physics and some of the engineering. I catch up by just talking to friends of mine that are engineers, but it would be cool to do that. But it's never too late to learn this stuff. That is pretty cool.
For some avenues, actually have to have the degree. So like in California, at least for the colleges that I've interviewed with, you have to have a degree in order to certify in order to teach. And I feel like I'm lackluster in it because I only have my AAS in it. So I want to go back and get my bachelor's, even master's, I was raised like to always be very strong in the education. So I'm like the more the degrees, the better. And the more, you know, like you get paid more, you know. Out here, it is an absolute necessity to have a degree to teach. And I think that's why there's not as many people within the major institutions. They just end up going and have their own, you know, certifications in smaller schools. But there's a deficit between degreed people and certified people. The basic qualifications in between, you know, like Miller has a really nice program that teaches you more of the metallurgy and the science behind it that you don't necessarily learn in the field. You know, somebody just hands you that piece of equipment and tells you do it, like the way I learned. And so I was missing that, you know, the whole foundation of it. And I didn't realize until I went to college. And then when students come through, we have novice welders, and I've had welders that come off of the military base, and they think they're so great until I start teaching them things, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even know this, because you do become excellent over time, you know, but there's certain aspects that you don't necessarily know, like degrees or the metallurgy behind it, or just basic maintenance on a machine. You know, some people will go into a job and the parameters are already set on the machine, and they don't necessarily know how to do it or diagnose it or fix it, or, you know, what metal goes with what process. They just do it because that's how they were taught. And I'm trying to bridge that, because there seems almost every single curriculum, major institution or private, there's a deficit. So I'm trying to learn it all so I can help bridge that.
We have a similar thing. There's a lot of people that are probably good, like they own plumbing businesses or they own construction businesses, but they don't have a college degree, so they're not going to go into teaching. And so then we miss out. Like we this is something that comes up all the time, is that there's not enough shop teachers. Basically, there's not enough people that want to even do it. You know, this is a thing across the board here. So someone
well, it's not necessarily wanting to do it. It's definitely a different breed to teach others. You know what I mean? So like, hats off to everybody that does it, because Lordy, you must have like an angel on your shoulder. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy. I love it. I absolutely love it. Aside from being a parent, it's probably my most satisfying job I've ever done. I absolutely love it. And
that's so
never
funny. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
No, I never knew that was going to be the evolution of my life. I thought I was just going to be building some lowriders and calling it good.
That's so funny. Yeah, this teaching was like a second career move for me. I was in product design, and I was sitting. Can you imagine me sitting in an office? Oh my God, it was horrible. We used to. I have a story about we were making these toys, and we had to talk to the Chinese liaisons, and everyone would you go into the Chinese liaison office to get your email sent out to the manufacturer, and then you have to wait 24 hours to get it back. Well, I'd go in there, and I'd be the only one that'd be like, hey, come with me, and I'd get them all up, and we would go to the gym, and I'd have them lift weights with me and stuff. And so we're doing this stuff, and the boss comes in and goes, what the hell is going on here? And I'm like, they're spotting me so we could do the bench press and this, that. And it's like, I'm crazy. Like, I can't be in an office. So teaching was perfect. When they brought me into the shop teacher room and they're like, oh, this is where you'll be, I was like, oh, this is great. You get to like build cars and hang out with kids. And, you know, so there's a certain amount of energy that clearly you have, and then the technical ability. So it's like the energy, the patience, the technical ability, and the pursuit of like trying to help people. That is like that's a lot. Most people don't want to go that route, you know, or can't. You know.
Right.
So
it's fulfilling, though. I think it is. I think it's very fulfilling, and honestly, even in California, you get paid fairly well. So I mean, there is some incentive, but like nobody wants to go to college. Nobody wants, you know, like I know they're very much lacking out here for qualified educators. So
yeah, totally.
Have to be the face of it, and to like tell people, like, you know, if you have a nurturing background and you're very skilled at whatever niche process you're learning, whatever the heck it is, go and teach, give back to it, because there's definitely a lack of people. A lot of people just want to go out in the field and like, you know, shout from the rooftop like, oh, I'm a badass, whatever you are. But other people still need to learn, you know. I don't have any.
You don't have what?
I don't have an ego like that. I rather just teach. I do want to go back into the field. I really do want to be a pipe welder, but like I'm 42 and my knees are probably like, hell no, you don't. You know what I mean? Like, what am I thinking? But I can go learn it and I can teach it.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like joining the army. You're out in the field. It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
So, Duke, have you done any welding, or you got like anything you think you could add, anything you take away from this?
Spot welding.
Oh yeah. Spot. I got one.
I think I've done that.
Yeah, middle school, you get the pedal, you had the kids press the pedal, you see a spark, and hopefully it lights a spark in the kid.
Right. Yeah. So are you in the automotive industry?
No. I'm a middle school teacher.
Oh, okay.
Middle school shop teacher. I have them in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So elementary, they go to elementary school and they don't have shop class. And then 6th grade, they come in and then you show them a saw and you're like, you're using this. And they're like, what? They're like, I'm not going to cut my finger off. So these kids, a lot of them, it's sad because, they don't even know how to hold a screwdriver, let alone a saw. So you put saws in these hands. I just took it for granted. Like, you always hold the flashlight for your father, and if he didn't put it in the right spot, then you get yelled at. But these kids don't even have that anymore.
Right.
It's all video games now.
Yeah, yep. But that helps in the robotics part of it because they know like how to move the robot. But I just do exposure, and then we do have a spot welder to school, so we might get into the metal a little bit this year. Same thing. We're talking about the battle bots. Lauren, you missed a good couple ones, but these battle bots and 3D printers these past couple of weeks, you got to check them out. The kids from Australia, but
oh yeah, Lauren, we can send you back episodes because the last one was pretty good. It was like an entrepreneur kid, like a junior in high school, and he had these battle bots. So that but yeah, if you could spot weld the shields together and make a box, teach them how to make a box. Like a pan brake, get a brake, and then spot weld it together. That would be pretty good, actually.
Remember, we used to do like the scoops with the handle. We used to spot weld handles.
And just like rivet the box together too.
You could also rivet it together. You could rivet it together, and you could get a hand punch, like a number 5 Roper Whitney, hand punch that'll pop a hole in it. You don't want to drill sheet metal; it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. The pain in the ass.
yeah, it's like awful. And then also, what was I going to say? With the spot welder, word of warning, Duke. I made a mistake one time. Don't let the kids put aluminum in that particular spot welder. It'll liquefy it and it'll drop on their feet, Yeah, because that's not. I actually don't know how they spot weld aluminum on cars and stuff, but that particular one, if it's thin enough, it'll just shoot liquid aluminum all over the place. Not good for the kids. But yeah, that's a good move. What about
You guys have such young classes. No one even has shop class out here. That is just not a class offered anymore. So I'm like, my mind is like completely blown. Like shop class, let alone welding. Like very few schools have anything like that anymore. It's just like it's all STEM stuff now. They're teaching coding, they're teaching robotics, they're teaching engineering. My daughter went through a full engineering but just a basic shop class, like Duke was saying, like I have students who are grown who don't even know how to use a tape measure. So I know there's huge deficit out here, It's so cool that you guys still have that type of class.
It's rare though. Go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, I feel like the skills that you were talking about, like troubleshooting the parameters on like the welder is like I don't know, like I do teach like a freshman STEM class, but I am having them use probably more stuff like instead of like Mike has the more robust machines down in the wood shop, but I have like smaller machines that they're still using. But there's so many schools out there that they call it like it's STEM, and it's very like arts and crafts stuff, and not like that troubleshooting and having the variety of materials and fabrication techniques. Like I think that you can see if Tim was here, he would be like he would debate this, but like I think that you can be like a new age shop teacher. We're teaching kids a variety of different fabrication techniques, but they're like applying it to
real life experience.
Yeah, like real life experience. And that's STEM. Like it's applied technologies. Like this is STEM stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
absolutely
cool.
will have a student completely tear down a machine if they get wire stuck or there's an issue with the roll not going fast. I will completely tear it down, and they'll all watch it. And so the next time I'm like, okay, so what do you think it is? Turn the machine off, start ripping it off. You have to pull this off or pull that off just to troubleshoot it, because I am not going to be there to hold their hand when they're in the field. So they absolutely have to know how to diagnose not only the machine, but the metal, like everything that comes in and out of that classroom, they know all about in and out, why everything happens if it's just the metal, the welding, or the machine, they learn about it.
Also, something to keep in mind for the middle school teachers that you guys are doing like robotics and stuff like that. Something amazing happening in the welding world, which, Tiffany, you obviously know more about, but what it is that we're going from the heavy welders that were made out of transformers, coil wrapped, and now they're basically computers. They're inverters, and they weigh
inverters.
And they weigh nothing. Nothing.
Yes.
Let me show you right here.
Right.
Like this is a MIG welder, and it's like 10 pounds. It's just as powerful as my Miller over there. My 110 Miller. This is like, I can't believe you could pick this up with your pinky. You could put this on one finger. You know what I mean? And it's
the technology is like every 2 years, because I even question it. There's always some issue. I always question them on their stick welding, right? Because normally an inverter welder cannot run a 6010. So every time the major manufacturers like Miller or Lincoln or ESUB, I'm like, well, does it run a 6010 though? Because that's the question of whether or not their evolution has actually included the 6010, which we need. Like, my students need a machine that can run 6010 at home,
Yeah.
But when I learned, it was on a huge, like 150-pound box with like a big old crank, no digital, nothing, and then now there's like these little tiny 5-pound machines, and they're just as powerful.
It's unbelievable. So it's all computer tech. So
yep.
So Lauren and Duke, if you're getting them started on actually, Lauren, you teach high school though, right? Oh yeah. So, but either way, you're getting them involved in robots. If they can like diagnose the problems with the robots and whatnot, oh my God, that's huge, because the inverter is really where it's at now. And I was like, no way that is going to work. So I bought one and I just tried it out. It's bulletproof. It's not a problem. It works. It'll weld. I mean, I'm sure the duty cycle is not the same as like a Miller or a Lincoln, but
no.
It's pretty good. Did you ever have the Tombstone? Do you remember the
little buzz box?
Yeah. Those things. The funniest thing about them is you can go on Craigslist and you can get one. I remember I bought 2 in one day because I needed a welder and I wasn't sure if one worked or what. One guy wanted $25. And the other one did $125. And the crazy thing is, one guy was like 20 years old and one was like 80 years old. And both of them, I don't know how they did this. They didn't plan it. They don't know each other. They were in 2 different counties, but they both had the same story. They both were like apologetic to me. They're like, we don't know if it works. I can't plug it in. Are you sure? Are you sure you're okay taking this? I'm like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Just here, $25. Let's go. And and they were like giving me stuff. They're like, here's an extra helmet, and is that? And I'm like, just give me the machine. Let's go. and both of them worked perfectly. Rusty all over. You can't kill the tombstone, the Lincoln tombstone. It's just like, it's not possible. Those things don't break, you know? I'm going to try and show you a picture of mine right here. This is crazy. So Nick, you got the tombstone at your house as well?
Well, we have the tombstone at the school, and then I bought the dual AC/DC tombstone on an auction. I brought that to school.
Cool.
So next purchase, I think is going to be like a trailblazer for myself.
There you go.
That's a heavy machine right there.
Nick, do you do welding with the kids?
Yeah, during the woodworking, metalworking class, I do some sheet metal work, and then we do at least one welding project. Now, like I said before, I do the stick first, and then I have them switch over to MIG. Because I think, you know, as we said before, MIG is just too easy. They just push the button and it works. You know, I like them to struggle a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This is my this is the tombstone.
Oh, so cool.
Yep.
Old school right here. But it's in the corner because I don't use it. I use these other ones. Hold on, I'll get the thing done.
That's like an abomination right there.
And that's the thing. I much rather stick. I mean,
Me
I
too.
do get some nice welds out of the MIG, but it's just, to me, it's more satisfying.
Yeah, and you know what? You
Doing
can
nice stick.
basically do any metal. I mean, I've done aluminum, stainless, carbon. There's a stick for just about every process you need. It just varies on, you know, what you can get as far as like the diameter of the rod. Sometimes you just can't get one small enough for like thin gauge metal if you need it. I always tell them, well, there's a rod for every metal. I don't have to do any other process.
I mean, my department at the school I work at has been around since '68 when the school was built, and you know, it used to be an ag program, so
Oh, right.
there's just various rods, and I think there's a chromoly one in there because I've used it, and like all those welds are chrome or nickel. It must be nickel, and you know, all the other pipe is all rusty. So you know, you read the description, it's for like bucket teeth or, you know, loader buckets type of thing. So
That's
amazing,
so cool.
you know, how hot that was to burn and how well it penetrated and everything compared to a 6010 or the 7018.
Got it. That's cool.
I love stick welding. I rather do it all day. If I'm practicing, I'm stick welding. The other processes are just so easy to me. I rather just stick weld. I prefer to have a little bit of pain in my life, and that's stick welding. It's definitely an art.
Oh yeah, it's not easy. So Nick, did you see that I have these? You know, I know it's sacrilege, but I went and bought all these Harbor Freight ones, the titanium one, and they're super cheap and they work. So I bring them. They're just so lightweight, but they work fine, and it's dual voltage. It's an inverter. You can crank them up. It's not a big deal. I've never had. They don't. You know, I'm not gonna. You know, knock on wood or whatever. But they haven't quit yet, and it's easy to transport them. They're like this big. It's like nothing. It's unbelievable. But yeah. So is that in your program where you do? I know you probably answered that, but I was running around. What? So what
typically,
kind of
like the last third of the year, I do metalworking.
Oh, no kidding! All right.
Metalworking class. So, you know,
that's awesome.
A couple of years ago, one of the kids wanted to strike up the forge or fix the forge that we had. It's a little smelting forge, but we do blacksmithing now during the metalworking portion as well. And
oh, that's awesome! You cast
and all that. Huh?
Are you casting? Are you casting metal?
No, it's just, you know, it was a smelting forge from when the program first got started, but it's hot enough to melt metal or, you know, heat the metal up enough to forging temperature.
That's awesome.
Smithing temperature.
That's cool. Nice. That is awesome. I gotta come up and visit you, see your project. You know, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, this is pretty good. What about Mike? Is he there? I don't know if he's maybe he's just listening. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, and do you do any metal work in your program at all?
No, I know absolutely nothing about it. This was very enlightening and educational.
Well, I got your back. Maybe I could teach you and Lauren together one day. You guys come up, see me, and come to the house. I got all the equipment right here. You know, open invitation.
It's pretty cool. Totally different way of manipulating the material.
Well, you know what? You know what? My favorite part about the whole thing is that it's literally like liquid. You're just managing a liquid, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give away, Tiffany, I don't know, tell me what you think of this. I'm going to give away some of my, what I call ground school. So like when we're not welding, I take a bottle of water and I pour some on, like, let's say the welding table with a fucked up surface or something. And I take, and you'll see that what happens is if you pour liquid on a flat surface, it kind of beads up and it tries to get together. It's almost like the Terminator, you know, it's like Liquid Metal Man or whatever. You take your finger and you say, okay, I'm going to weld with my finger, and you touch it, you break the tension, you start moving the whole liquid, you start moving it. And what happens is they see that it's not just make fire and move fast. They think that's what it is because it's a beginner, but you're actually moving the liquid. And so if you go fast, you'll lose it and you'll have this cold weld. But if you go slow, it's going to be too hot because it'll start to get bigger, you know? And so like I just basically do ground school with water. Basically it's water, but it's steel because you're using like an arc that's like close to 3,000 degrees or whatever, you know? So, you know, that's kind of one of the things that is fun about the welding, you know? And, I think her phone cut out or something. But the other thing I do is I talk about structure. So when you weld, you know how when you weld, you always want it to look like a roll of dimes? So the roll of dimes, hold on. Yeah, you could picture that. So it looks like a roll of dimes. But the reason why it has to look like that is because if you had a situation where you could stick a pencil in it, that's the beginning of a failure. That's the beginning of a fracture. You see? So whenever you're welding, you want it to look really good. It's got to look like a whole bunch of stacked little dimes. And, you know, so these are some of the things we go over. And what's nice is that, like you said, it's material manipulation. So the material at room temperature is frozen. And then when you liquefy it, you're manipulating it, you know? So I kind of like it in that way, you know? But you can start with the spot welder, you know? Oh, here we go. She's back. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Oh, you're still muted. What's going on here? Okay, try and unmute yourself, Tiffany.
No, my phone was burning up. I'm in California, remember? So like I just jumped off the freeway in the sun. That's why I've had like my arm up, but the sun burned my phone. It turned off because the temp of it was too hot.
Oh my God. Oh my
I had to
God.
go find shade to cool my phone off.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You know,
It's
we're
like
over
100 degrees right now. It's like burning up. You see? Like I swear I'm sweating.
Wow. It's been hot here in Jersey. It's been so humid. The humidity is like it's like almost 80% humidity. It is brutal.
Oh,
my goodness. Yeah.
Not that. No way.
Yeah, that's so funny. But what you missed was what I was saying was basically it's liquid management when you're welded. And yeah.
Do you use it as like to cool? Is that what you're doing?
No. I teach them that, like, okay, you know how beginners, they can't keep the puddle. They go too fast or they go too slow and then they burn through or whatever. Okay. So what I do is I pour liquid on the table. No welding.
Right.
No welding. I call it ground school. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. I take my finger and I say, okay, I'm going to weld with my finger. And I move the liquid as I go like this, I move it, and they'll see that because of the tension of the liquid, it just follows your finger in a nice path.
Interesting.
Okay.
I
So
like that.
all right. Use it if it works for you.
Because
Yeah.
that's the thing about welding is once they don't necessarily understand controlling the puddle until they actually get it. Like you can't tell them, show them. One day they have that moment of epiphany and they're like, oh, the puddle. I'm like, oh my God, I've been telling you for weeks. It's the puddle.
Right.
You can control the puddle, you can weld. So that makes
exactly.
so much sense. Love that.
Yeah,
use that.
use it. But do this. This is what you got to do. On the welding table, because it's going to have all kinds of flux and beads and little things. Its impurities are all over the table, right? So just take your water bottle and just put like not too big, just put a little circle. And then what I say is the tension, you'll notice it's not perfect. So I say, look at these, look at all these ridges and these tensions. It wants to spread out, but it can't because it has a surface tension, right? So then you take your finger and you say, I'm going to weld with my finger, and you pop a hole in the side of it and you slide your finger, and they'll see the bead just follows your finger. And they're like, what the fuck?
I love that.
Yeah. That's cool. Good. Yeah. Because otherwise they're not going to see the bead or the puddle. They're just not going to see it. They don't see it, because they're looking at like there's smoke and there's electricity and there's things flying all over the place. And they got this mask on and they got gloves on. It's too much, It's too much for a beginner. Way too much. The other thing I talk about is structure, which your phone was dead when we were talking about it. Is what I do is I cut a circle, half circle, in paper, and then I take a square cut, and the round cut you pull it and it won't break until you really pull and it pops. Okay, so it's like round. It's distributed. Like the side of a weld is like round, right? Then you go over here for the square cut. And when you pull, it immediately tears. There's no tension at all. Just whoosh. And so I said, that's why your weld has to be nice, like a roll of dimes, because you don't want any area where it's like an in. So that's where the crack would be and the fracture would start there. You see, so I do paper and water.
Look at you. I really do like that.
Yeah, that's what I do. Try it. Let me know if you try it one day. I'll be very happy if you try it.
We just had that conversation about bead profile. The shape of the actual weld doesn't matter. And, I see welds all the time. The first thing I want to do is I want to comment. But, you can't necessarily go to some famous person's page and be like, excuse me, your travel angle wrong. They're going to get like, you know what I mean? So I just look at it in my head. I'm like, okay, kids, I will just take a picture of it. I'm like, this is what's wrong. What's wrong with it? So that's a cool way to show it. I love that.
Right. Travel angles. So like, let me just pull up a picture because not everybody here does welding. Let me see. Roll of dimes. The typical, here we go. Okay, hold on a second. So this is this is what everybody's like going for, and this is what you see on Instagram, and they call it weld porn or whatever, and so, but the reason that you want this shape is there's just no way to break into it. There's no fracture point. Yeah, I mean, this is my understanding. I am not.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay, yeah.
And talking about this, and this is primarily just TIG welding, which is one process. Every process looks a little bit differently, but you should have very, very
here's a stick welding beads
profile.
Oh wait, let's see. Welding. We'll just those are not. Yeah,
that looks like stick welding.
Welding.
I can't hardly.
Yeah, hold on.
But you just basically want to have a very uniform profile on each.
Oh, here's like different ones.
Well, that's like day one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like
yeah. But even like the width of it, this is aluminum.
Right. Your WS will basically state how wide your weld should be, and then each metal size is going to be dictated by what rod you use, what process, because of penetration. You know, there's different processes for different welds. So every bead profile should be very uniform. You know, you shouldn't be too sharp. If it's a sharp profile, then your work angle is probably off. And you can usually tell just by the shape of the bead. You know, you can, oh, well, you usually have between a 5 and 10 degree. And I know like every teacher teaches it just a little bit off by degree, but me, I do 5 to 10 degrees for your work angle, and then, or no, for your travel angle, and then 45 degrees for your work angle. And everybody's going to get their comfort level. So that's just kind of like my sweet spot. And then you can tell at the end of the day whether or not it's proper when you go into like a destructive test. So if you have a sharp bead profile and it bends in accordance to code, cool, then keep it, you know. But normally you want to have a more like, what is it, just the similar shape all the way through across the whole stinking weld. If it's sharp, you're not going to get proper penetration on both legs, you know. That's basically already shown before.
When you say sharp, so if the stick is low, you're going to get these like angles, or they're like almost like arrows instead of circles, right?
A more circular profile. Yeah. You can tell if it's a sharp profile on the bead, you know, the bead is just the face of the weld, then you're probably at too steep of an angle, which, I mean, there's a whole reason why you shouldn't do that. You're not getting proper gas coverage. You know, you're not getting sufficient penetration because it's going to be uneven. You know what I mean? And then there's that break point right there that you were just talking about, is that sharp spot. So if you have a more round bead profile, you know, you're more, it's a more uniform bead profile. It's more structurally intact. You're going to get proper penetration. Like there's so many, I like see it all the time. I'm like, oh my God, do I say something? Do I not say something? So I just try to impart on my students from the foundation up, like, this is what it should be. You know, we're all going to have our own style, and it may, you know, not be 100% round, but when you go down to it and you test it and do the destructive test, and, you know, you can bend it without it breaking, then you know that that's right. So maybe it is sharp, but for the most part of what I've seen, when it's like that, you're not going to be able to pass a destructive test. You're going to have a more uniform profile.
Yeah. What's really cool, like, about what you're saying is that, like, basically when it freezes the work you did. So the evidence is there. You can't escape it. Like, it's just there, you know, which is wild. And then obviously, like, you have fun with it, because then there's like bird shit welding, you know, and I just say to them, that's actually a technical term. And
that is a technical term. Everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, bird shit welding is when it literally looks like poop on top.
Right.
It is. Oh my God, it is so bad.
Perfect penetration.
Yeah. And when you see stuff like this, they're like, what am I doing wrong? Is it the settings? It's a lot more than just the settings.
Yeah, just stop. Just stop for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's restart.
It's too cold.
Yeah, this is bad news. Yeah. That's funny. Oh my God. So, you know, but it's great because once they understand what they're doing wrong, they can strive to correct it. They're obviously not going to get it right the first time, you know, but
right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. This is cool. This is funny. So, yeah. And Damien, do you have welding in your program?
In our vet medals we do, and we do offer it from year 9 up. It's usually when it's introduced, if we end up getting into doing a industrial tech metals course. It's very hard to get metal running. Everybody just thinks it's too dirty.
Oh, I see. You mean for the school?
Yeah, the kids don't like it. So it's hard to get a class running. You'll only get a couple of kids pick it, so it never runs.
Oh, you mean, so when you say running, you mean populating the class to justify the teacher and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Run the course for the year.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we've got subject selection coming up in. We've got a couple of weeks until the holidays, and then about 3 weeks after the holidays, we run subject selection for the following year for years 9 and 11. And in year 11, we're offering engineering, which might do a bit of it, and metals it's a dying course.
Wow,
industry.
no kidding.
Yeah, well, the vet medals one, we used to run a Cert 2 in schools, but there was a lot of teachers signing kids off that they shouldn't, and the medals industry up the coast started complaining about it, and so they cut it back to a Cert 1 in manufacturing. So they're still supposed to learn at least MIG welding, but other stuff is just general fabrication.
Got it.
How do you go about learning major structural code welding in your area? Do you have to go to a specialty school?
Yeah, you go through to TAFE, which is the option after high school.
Oh.
So you go through there, get an apprenticeship, try and be a boiler maker or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Run those.
That was a good question, Tiffany. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, what do you do if you want to be a welder?
Yeah, try and get a job with any of the metals industries up in Newcastle or BHP, big steel industry in the area. They'd be the best places to go. But TAFE should teach it. I mean, the courses we run are TAFE courses, so sometimes TAFE don't like the fact that we're running it here because they don't think it's taught right. And to be quite honest, it isn't taught right by a lot of teachers. They're just sort of signing kids off, and it's just like with construction. Like, I teach construction, and if the kids can't be signed off, they can't be signed off. And I tell the kids, I've got no qualms with you not getting your full certificate if you can't demonstrate it. And I wish that more teachers would do that. They think that if they're not signing kids off, that they're being seen as a bad teacher, but you've got to be able to prove competence.
Absolutely. That's your name on the line too. You know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just frightening, actually.
Yeah, it's tough for the teacher because they're probably like, oh yeah, if they don't sign it off, then they won't get more kids in the class. Less kids will take it because they'll think it's too hard. And then, I mean, shop teachers sort of we don't have any certifications where I teach, but as far as like signing kids off, but yeah, we're always in the dilemma of like, oh, should we fail this kid? But if we fail the kid, then, then they tell their other friends, and then the less people sign up. That's my problem with my advanced class, but my beginner class is overpacked, and that's just the way it is because they just got it. The guidance counselors just shove kids in there. So I'm always fighting the battle of getting it reduced. Yeah.
We had so many teachers who would just push the non-academic kids into our timber class, the industrial technology class, and then they got a shock when they saw how much planning and design work and folio work they needed to have for the course to be able to pass it. And my kids this year are failing miserably, and they're just going, there's so much work. And I said, well, we've been working on it since November, so what have you been doing?
Right.
Yeah. It's ironic because so sometimes I have kids that come to me and they say, I'm so sorry, I can't take your class because I'm going to med school. And I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. You're going to go to med school, but like in all the hospitals and all the doctor's offices, don't they have like robots and mechanical equipment? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so why don't you just take my class and then you'll learn how all these things work, or at least get an idea. And I said, you can read all the books you want about medical, but there's no actual hands-on medical class in high school. But you're going to do hands-on later in college. You're going to do your residency and stuff. But for now, why don't you do the hands-on mechanical stuff? Because you need to learn that anyway. And then they're like, oh, I don't know. So then I always hit them with this analogy. I say, you imagine if you were trying to ride a bicycle. Would you read about the bicycle, like how to ride a bicycle, or would you ride the bicycle? Which person is going to do better? And they're like, oh, you got to ride it. I'm like, all right, well, there you go. Like, you can't read how to ride a bicycle. It's not going to happen. And same with welding. You can't watch a video about welding. You got to actually do it, So there's no way around it. You just got to, the application. So that's what I find, like the guidance counselors used to put all that, like the academic kids away from they put them in what they call the AP classes, advanced placement. But it's just advanced reading. That's all it is. You know?
It's just a heavier workload. I had it in college. But you know what? You never know who's going to be the next best welder until you actually introduce them to it. I had no idea my life was going to go in this route. I was just going to build cars until I was introduced to major structural welding. Like, you have no idea until you actually do. I get it all the time. Should I do it or should I not? Just try it. You may become an engineer after that. You may become Miller's biggest, I don't know, traveling salesman. I don't know.
Didn't you interview a girl who became a Miller's engineer?
No, she's not an engineer. She's a CWI, but it was the same thing. She had no idea. Like,
yeah.
There's so many cool stories I have a girl who was just with me this weekend. She was in the medical field and she decided to take a class. I think it was in college, just a welding class, and boom, now she's a structural welder. She's one of our partners with the company. So like, never know. Unfortunately, to me, it seems like schools and academia period, it's just a number so that it makes their curriculum look better. They don't necessarily care about the trade. And I've seen that in big institutions and small institutions, you know, like, oh, it's just welding. Welding made that building you're in, you know, welding made that car you're in. You know, what is it? When you're within 6 feet of something that's been welded, always.
Yeah.
So think about that table you're sitting at, the vehicle you're sitting at, you know, your house, your shop. There's welding for everything. And it's for every industry, wood, electricity, welding, you know, whatever it is. You just never know. And unfortunately, schools don't necessarily pander to that type of thing. They want to see the A's, they want to see the degrees, but then what? You know what I mean? Not everybody wants to do that. Here's a little fun fact, you guys. I was going to school to become a stockbroker. So
no way.
Yeah, I was in real estate investment when I was really young. And I flipped a lot of houses, made a lot of money. And I was going to get my Series 6 and 63, which is to trade stocks. So I did not like it. Like, I just didn't like the cutthroat way. I loved the money. It was insane. But, like, you know what I mean? It just wasn't where my life was. And when I was flipping homes, the one trade that I absolutely wanted to do, because I knew woodwork, I knew electricity, I knew painting, was welding. So when I really walked into that shop, I promise you it was the first time in my life that I felt like I was at home when I learned metallurgy and how to work.
Wow, what a journey! What a journey!
And 12 years later, here I am teaching people. So like, you never know. I could have been a bored stockbroker right now. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely, when they say you love what you do and you live whatever that, you know, if you can do what you love and love what you do, that's what I do every day. Wow. And not too many people get that opportunity. It's a huge blessing. I had no idea my life was going to go. I thought I was just going to be, you know, just, I don't know. I have no idea, but this is not where I thought it was. And I'm completely happy every day. It's a pain in the ass. Don't get me wrong. You know, like, God, I love it. No, this is it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so we'll kind of wrap it up soon, but I just want to show them again that there's all these interviews here. Now, which one was the one where the girl was a welder, but then she ended up working for the
so her thing is Verona. Let me see. Hey Vera Welds is her name, and she's out of Modesto. It's Veronica Pro. Yeah.
Oh no.
So that's
Sorry, is this the one? Oh, here we go.
Hey Vera Welds.
Oh, hey Vera, where's that? Do you see this?
She should. I can't see it, but I think she was my 5th interview, and she's out of Modesto, California.
All right, let me see if this is the one. This is not it.
She's another a welding instructor.
Okay.
I think before that, let me see.
Because that was a good one.
If you go into the Instagram page and go onto the actual lives, I can show you a little bit better because I'll be able to see her face.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
That's just like a little website I put on there. So go into.
Oh, lives. How do I get to that? I don't know what I'm doing here.
right above the pictures, those 1, 2, 3, 4.
Here?
It's reels and TV. Click the TV one. Because there's
IGTV reels.
Why am I not?
I don't think they're reels.
Oh, here?
It should be IGTV. No, those are posts.
Wait, Nick, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I got you. I got you.
There you go.
Okay.
All the way down. This is the evolution of my hair too, by the way. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I
listen to this one. This is Latina's welding, right?
Oh God,
that was good.
Cuervo is amazing.
Yeah, that was good. And I listened to
there's an team Laura in Ireland. There's another teacher. There's a lady from Lincoln Electric. Okay, so that one. So right in the middle to the very far left.
This one?
Yes, that's Vero.
Oh.
So she started in the medical industry, and then she is with the what is she with? The Carpenters Union as a welder.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, she just spent the weekend. Her and her daughter just left my house on Monday.
Oh, no kidding. That's wild.
It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. These are great interviews. So you can just always go back to this and listen to it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm actually in the process of taking these and editing them and putting them onto YouTube. So it's going to be a different platform.
Yeah, that's better.
Right. So
and even if you have them, I used to use Anchor, which distributes the sound onto all the,
Anchor.
Yeah, Anchor's pretty easy.
Everybody's.
Spotify Spotify owns them, so they just go direct to Spotify.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Spotify. What about the girl who worked for the welding company?
So that would be there's a bunch of them. So Miller, that would be Athena. Let me see. Scroll up.
Oh, this is all
the way. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that's a little girl. There's Shauna. That's a Lincoln. That's an Artanium. That's the Burrs. Oh, right there. Okay, so in the middle again to the far left, she actually EWI with Miller, and her life the same thing. It took a completely different toll. She didn't originally intend on being a welder, but now she's a CWI, and she travels with Miller Electric, and she's a tech. She's also an educator. She just travels with them, so she's super, super cool, super sweet, super young too, which is really neat. I love women to see different, different age groups, because not like me, I've had like such a full and robust life. Like I change it. It's not going to change anymore, but she was really young and unsure, and boom, now she's working for Miller, and Miller's the top company out there right now.
That's awesome. These are so awesome. Wasn't there one where
there's an engineer for Lincoln Electric. So she actually went through I just did that one. That was one of the last ones. So scroll all the way up.
Okay.
That was with Sheena. It's that one, I think.
Okay.
Oh no. I'm sorry. That's not the one. It's Overmore.
Here?
Go out of that one.
This one?
One more. That's Sheena. So we did a 3-way on this one.
This one?
She's super sweet. She's an actual engineer. She's the one that develops the consumables for Lincoln Electric.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Right. She's crazy smart. So she's an actual chemist and engineer. And then she went through the full program just so that
I want to listen to that one. I want to learn about the chemistry. That sounds really cool.
It's really, really good. And I'm just like shooting, questions at her, because there's always questions that my students ask that I don't necessarily know. And of course, I take the time to ask, but then I'm like, so what's the science behind it? And she knows the science behind it. So that's a really good interview.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, metallurgy you got to know some of the basics at least.
Yes.
Because, even like a file is closer to like chalk. It's hard. It's hard, but it's brittle. There's softer metals, and then there's reactive metals, and then I always teach the kids that their blood is red, but like the reason it's red is because iron is like the Uber driver for your oxygen. You know, it's just driving around the oxygen. But when the iron gets together with oxygen, it just becomes like useless because iron's like, yo, what's up, oxygen? And oxygen's like, what's up, iron? And they get together and they're just, you know how they get together and they always go drinking and then they're useless afterwards. So, you know, I mean, I leave out the drinking part, but you know.
I love your analogies. They're excellent.
You know, and then you got to get into copper, like the Statue of Liberty is green. And they're like, and I'm like, that's what happens when copper hangs out with oxygen. They turn all green, you know? So like, but then, so it's funny because the Statue of Liberty was supposed to represent freedom. So it was copper, it was bright, it was warm and this and that. But you know, it's about the money. So that's why it turned green later, you know? You know?
Green.
Yeah, you know. Well, you got to play around with this stuff and talk about the chemistry. And then, geez, I never went too deep into the box face, face centric versus whatever. All the crystals, the crystal structure. Geez.
Oh God.
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
We get into that during certification process because normally we would cool metal in the water, but when you go into certification process, you have to allow it to cool organically, or else it'll crystallize. And we've had a student do that. He was like, "Wasn't I supposed to cool it in the water?" And so when he went to go,
oh, her phone cut out. Probably, she's in the California heat. That's unbelievable. Anyway, we're gonna start wrapping it up. This is like wild. She's got a lot of energy, right? Oh, there she is. She's back.
I'm here. I swear I'm not doing nothing. You guys all jumped out.
Oh, we
You froze on us.
We missed out on that.
I was like, okay,
your phone is like melting.
There's no more sun, I promise. No.
Okay.
Blank right now. Maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Is it me?
Okay.
Me?
Yeah, you're cutting out. I don't know. I mean, yeah. That's all right.
Yeah. Metallurgy.
Very cool. Well, this was awesome. We're gonna wrap it up here. Usually what we do is I end the recording, but then people can hang out if they want or whatever. But this was so awesome, Tiffany. Thank you so much. I think that this is a good. What's that?
I have to look everybody up now.
Oh yeah, we can help you out with that. And this was awesome, you know, and I want to follow. I think this is the beginning of your journey. I feel like I'm watching a rocket take off and like, yeah, you're like, yeah, I've been there, done that. No, this is just the beginning for you. You're like about to hit like escape velocity. It's like unbelievable. You know?
I wish I could tell you what's going on, but I can't.
No, don't say anything yet.
Yeah, I can't. But yes, you're definitely right.
Yeah,
and
everybody should know. You should stay tuned to Tiffany's journey. She's got a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Right. It's
all
great.
right. Well, they know how to find you. You're on Instagram, and you got the YouTube channel coming up, I guess. And every Friday night, she's got these interviews. They're pretty cool, and they'll take questions. Like you can type stuff in as she's live. And all right. Well, thanks for everything you do. And thanks for everybody coming to the meeting. This is a great show. It's so cool. We have so many guests. So I'm going to end the recording, but we just usually like casually hang out for a bit. Let me just see here. I don't even know how to do it. Oh, I don't even know how to end this thing. What did I? It's like a new format. They changed Google, right? Did everybody notice that?
Melting now. See that?
Yeah. What is this? I don't know how to end this thing. Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.